that all schools should adopt a values-based culture, and within that culture have a values-based curriculum. Looking forward to how things are developing in education, there is an overwhelming argument in my mind that we need to have the same emphasis on character development as we do on subject development. And the only way to do that is to create a values-based school. The values-based curriculum is vital. All teachers are values teachers. Often teachers say to me, oh, values is done in citizenship or another aspect of personal social education. It isn't my responsibility. But they forget that every teacher is a values teacher. The moment we open our mouths, we speak values. People can sense what values we are portraying. So what this wonderful book about values does, and the curriculum, is highlight what practitioners are saying that passionately believe in values-based education within their subjects. So for the first time, through this book, people can see real practical ways of ensuring that values, positive human values, are threaded through their aspect of the curriculum: art, science, mathematics, the humanities, literacy. All those subjects are vehicles for teaching and learning about values. So what I'm arguing for is equal status between character development, by which I mean the development of the human being, the whole human being, understanding the neurofunctions of the mind, understanding our relationships with other people and ourselves, understanding ourselves fully, in other words. And then the other part of the curriculum should be the knowledge, subjects, concepts that children need to understand in order to deal with the complexities of living in the modern world. So those two equal-sized components then help us to deal with things such as artificial intelligence. It gives us the capacity to ask those questions about right and wrong, what we should do to remain as compassionate human beings. From a very young age, children need to have their senses, their capacities, their awareness about our world really heightened. I believe that over the last two to three centuries, human beings have focused on the external world as though it's not a part of humanity. And we're not a part of it. So there's a desperate need to link the two things so that we understand that we are a part of the natural world. Now, what does this mean? This means that in all subjects, there needs to be that link between the subject, whether it be science. Let's take science as an example. If it's science, that we understand that there are some powerful values that we need to really consider. The ethical nature of our decision-making in science, for instance, we need to really deeply think about how that impacts on the work that we do. Ethical dilemmas are so important within science, for instance. A question could be asked, if you have one kidney and you have a 50-year-old man and a 16-year-old girl, who should get the kidney? Those are ethical dilemmas. And the way that we have developed values thinking at an early age helps us. It gives us a reservoir of thinking, which is based on ethics, which helps us to grasp the underlying tenets of such questions as that. So in my mind, it is vital that subjects have to be linked with values intrinsically. They are not separate. They are not separated. What's so incredible about this new book is that it is very practical and it is written by teachers for teachers. So it's full of practical wisdom that you can start and get on with straight away. I've been reading through over the last few days what various sub-authors have been saying in their subjects. And if I were, say, an English teacher, I'd be thrilled to read some of the practical ideas that they are putting into practice. Number one is to have a look at your curriculum as it is. Say you're the art teacher, look at your policy and then underline, highlight all that currently talks about values. And you may be surprised. You may be surprised that quite a lot of your policy focuses on values. But on the other hand, you might think, oh my gosh, we haven't put anything in our policy that links with values. So that's one practical thing which I think could improve your practice in a school. I've got a marvelous example of where a teacher in a primary school, she went into a school, I won't name it, but it was a distress school. Relationships were poor, standard of teaching wasn't as good as it should be. It was dysfunctional. And this particular teacher had already been in a values-based school, and she decided that she would model what being a values-based teacher is about. So within her classroom, she modeled the values that she thought the school should be thinking about. This went on for several weeks, and at that school, they had lesson observation. And on one particular occasion, the head teacher came in to observe her lesson. And at the end of the lesson, he said, I'm just stunned. I just don't know what to say. I'm not seeing anything in other classes like I'm seeing here. Your relationships with the children are outstanding. The children listen to you. There's not, behaviors that are detracting from their learning. What is it that you do? And this teacher then explained what a values-based culture is, what you do in a values-based classroom, how you empower agency in the pupils from a values-based perspective. And it then transforms, so the children's behavior improves, their learning improves, and all the other things. Absolutely marvelous.